No. You almost called me on that thing. No, you're not gonna catch me. So, folks, look, it's the end of the month, so it is our summer spotlight special. We got one that this is a deep cut for a few people. Awesome. Back before streaming. I think I actually bought this T-shirt around that time the show came out. That's why I'm wearing the T-shirt. It's also a couple T-shirt. But look, as always, to talk about this, I need the help of some people. I got to get a new doorbell. That sounds weird. Somebody's at my door. Hold on a second. Let me see who it is. Jabba, how are you today?
No, don't do that. I thought we were having a nice day.
I hate you. Look, we're good. We'll talk about that in a couple weeks, folks. Look, it's Robert's month. He's got a special thing that he wants to talk about for the summer spotlight special. Are you ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Because we're gonna talk, but that's got to be the worst doorbell in history. Don't you start your shit. Don't you start. Don't you start. All you needed was like that lighting that she had.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wanted to see if I could freeze.
Is he frozen?
No, he's not. But damn good job, Robert. Jesus.
No, I think he is.
I saw him moving.
No, I think he's frozen.
Are you deadly serious?
I think
You're not frozen, Robert. Robert has powers, obviously. Everyone.
He's the Avatar.
I swear I saw him moving.
No,
damn it, man. Hold on a second.
I swear, if we get a jump scare, I'm going to leave.
Okay, so here's the thing, folks. Technical difficulty. Unfortunately. How does he have two?
See, nope. I'm calling Jesus.
Oh, one's gone. All right. You didn't see what we saw at the bottom of the screen. It was not cool. I was like, what the? So this broadcast is haunted, apparently. Someone made a wish, and it was about Robert. I need y'all to get somebody else that you know to make a wish so you can unwish Robert. Yeah. You know what? Let's just get into the show. Robert, it's your month. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
All right. We're going to have some fun with this one. I love how we always start off with a cracking show and then it just gets wilder and crazy and we just keep laughing through it because we're having fun. So, folks, look, we've got a great episode coming up. We're going to get it started. Are you all ready?
I'm ready. Scared, but ready.
You're the only one. Let's go. I really enjoy that opening. It feels like a sea breeze. It legitimately does. I love it. So hey folks, what's up? Welcome to the Summer of Geek here on the Hungry Bleak channel. Excuse me. This is our summer series where we're having just a lot of fun, what have you. But on this episode, we are having our summer spotlight special where we each pick a TV show, a movie, a comic, what have you, the month, and we talk about that, we spotlight it, and we have a great time with it. So, before we get into it, let's get into our introductions. I am Antonio Pomars, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room. You can take that however you like.
There you go, Job Shan, who is scared, but still here. Yeah.
And it's Robert Light in the Sky Jeffrey the second. So I'm happy to be here. And I just saw my face freeze. My God. But yeah, it was.
I'm already loving this episode.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
So, Robert, this is your month. What have you picked and why?
Yeah, so for today's, or for this month's, I guess, feature topic, I chose the 4400 season 1. And the 4400 is a show that came out in 2004, ran in 2007, and then but it premiered on the USA Network. And it's a sci-fi adventure or sci-fi mystery show, which I don't think gets as much credit as it deserves. It's one of those things that flew under the radar around the same time that Heroes came out, and they both deal with the topic of regular everyday people with super abilities or with some type of abilities. So is that is okay? That's better. um, yeah, it was just a show that I enjoy, and I wanted to give us a shot. Give us a chance to watch it and talk about it. So
This was a show. I remember it was on USA, right? I want to say, and this was just a fun one for me because I don't watch a lot of that stuff from that time period too much. Maybe movies, but not shows. And I remember being on the couch when this would come on, and I was all in. All these thousands of people coming back, powers, and it was more of a when I watch it now. Excuse me. It's more like a character study,
yeah,
including sci-fi. Like you can do like it wasn't like a where you got like a monster of the week kind of thing.
yeah,
And that was the whole story. You got a person each week who had powers, but then you also got all the connecting tissue of all the characters that were in this universe and what was happening and why. And coming back was just so cool. Yeah, this was a deep cut. It threw me back, and I enjoyed the ride of that time travel, which was cool. So thank you very much for this one, Robert.
yeah. But I guess let me give the basic concept. Over the course of I think 40 or 50 years, I don't even know if they give a starting date for when this happens, but people are abducted. They disappear over like 40 to 50 years, and in 2004 they're brought back to Seattle in like a ball of light over a beach, and they reappear. So these people who have been essentially kind of abducted over time are brought back to Seattle, and the world basically has to deal with their reappearance and what happens with these people when they come back. So we got the mystery of where do the people go, and why did they come back? So
yeah, I think there was just a really cool, and so many people too from that time. Like you got guest stars and everything like that. Java, was this your first time watching it? And what'd you think of the show?
So I watched the reboot, but I didn't know it was like a reboot when they had it on the CW, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
The reboot. Yeah. And because I'm like, because I think that was like the time when like they were kind of slowing down with all the superhero shows on the CW, and like that was like one of the shows that were on there. So I'm like, I'll watch this. And then when I realized it was a reboot, Robert told me, I'm like, okay, I'll watch the first one. Didn't realize that it was only like 5 episodes for the first season. I'm like, wait, that's it? Like this is short.
I think because it was like USA.
yeah.
So it wasn't like 20 something episodes. It was 6, which is, y'all know I love a short series or a short season. Thank you. I need a nap. I got to go eat. I got to work. I got to take a walk. I got to exercise. Thank you. I love that.
But you know,
yes.
Sorry. I was gonna say I'm surprised that they didn't like when they had it on there for USA, they didn't kind of do like a repeat. Because for me, honestly, SVU owned USA. Because you would always see a marathon for whatever reason. So you would watch that. It was either like SVU or one of the other Law and Order spinoffs. But if that was on USA, I would never catch it on USA. It's like I never was able to watch it on USA because I guess when they had it on, I must have missed it.
Yeah. It was on. I can't remember what night it was on. Do you remember what night it was on, Robert?
So I don't know because I think I came to the show like a year or so after it had actually premiered. So I went to like a local area. I think we CD warehouse, and they used to sell used DVDs. So I went to it and just bought like all the first season and then the subsequent seasons after that. So yeah, so I'm not too sure what night of the week it came on, but I also know that this was during the time of Suits, Psych, other Monk.
Mm.
So this was during USA's heyday, like when they were actually doing original programming that wasn't just Law and Order SVU reruns. But yeah. So this was like around that time when when they when it was like they were doing a lot of good stuff.
I was actually trying to look it up honestly to see what day it was because it's just
Okay,
irking me. It's just irking the hell out of me now.
Well, yeah, I mean, just kind of, I can start things off a little bit if that's cool.
Mhm.
As far as so general impressions for me, like overall, one of the reasons that this kind of appeals to me is because it takes that idea of the regular everyday people with abilities and applies this X-Files aesthetic like background to it. And there is that, kind of to a point that Antonio was making, like it wasn't so much like the monster or the ability of the week, but it more so focused on these people not trying to do super heroics with these abilities that they develop, but basically trying to survive as regular everyday people. And I think that's one of the reasons, like this is right up there with Chronicle for me. Like, and so I always try to tell people, like, if you want something that isn't a tights and fights TV show or movie or whatever, this kind of falls in that same realm as Chronicle. So I think like the character study, like you said, Antonio, was the thing that really kind of shot this forward for me as far as my interest or like kind of mini obsession with it. Um, and it just has a X-Men type of vibe to it also, with the idea of like this group of persecuted individuals because they are different. So it's kind of like one of the things that drew me into it after watching, after I watched the first season. So I guess sometimes I say, like, what were y'all's initial thoughts with going through this first time watch or like a rewatch?
I would say for me, it's the powers,
Okay.
and 'cause I think it was either I think it was like episode 3 when it was the older gentleman who was trying to, I think, find his wife, and I think she was in the nursing home.
Orson Welles. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way his powers connected to other people, like where he was like shaking the gate, and it was kind of like a earthquake effect where like it shook the whole house of the other person, and I think it technically crushed him, like not the house crushed on him, but like his whole like body like crushed,
Yeah.
which is really weird. I'm like, okay, so you can't really identify like what kind of powers he has. Just it was like a kind of like a telepathy type of thing, but like so you're shaking everything, or it's like magnetic. I don't know. It's like I don't know what kind of power you would like describe it, but it was just like weird to see like how they introduce powers. And one girl who I think is pretty much like Satan's child, because she's like, there's gonna be water here, or there's like this is gonna be on fire. I'm like, you need Jesus.
I don't know how to even follow that. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I love the fact that the show is a lot of the powers, like Job was saying. I like the fact that they weren't overdone.
Mhm.
They were almost kind of based in reality, and they used like more like practical effects for it. The episode that always stuck out to me. Unfortunately, I tried to watch it on Tubi, like rewatch it on Tubi. Tubi was like, I'll only give you every other episode. I said, I don't understand that. I want my money back. And I said, wait, it's free, so I'm not getting nothing back. But I got to watch the episode where the man, I want to say was David Eisenberg. I want to say is his name. He's one of my favorite actors out there. I love him and stuff. Some of you may know him from Sex and the City. He was Steve. He was also on Chicago Fire, which is funny. It's also funny because the character of Sean, that actor, is actually on. Thank you. Is actually on Chicago PD. I think he actually may have left the show. I can't remember. Anyway, I loved it because he came back and his purpose was to clean up the city and clean up the park. This park that had been overrun by crime and graffiti and violence and what have you. And he went out that one night and he found out that he had the ability to just not be beaten. He was like, faster, he was stronger, and he was out here whooping. I love the fact that to a certain extent they didn't show him beating up people. Like all you heard was just fisticuffs. That's all you heard was fisticuffs. But then at the end of the episode, spoiler alert for a show from 2004, he ends up dying. And the what was it? I'm trying to remember his name. Baldwin, the
Tom Baldwin.
Yeah, the former agent. He was like, well, what was his purpose? They give whoever took him, gave him these powers, and they send him back. And then you see the whole community, everyone that he had interacted with in some way, shape, or form, even his boss, who was an ass, they all came to the park and they all were like there to see him, and they were also sad. They all came there also to come together as a community and then to clean up the park. So again, like I was saying, it wasn't just person with powers of the week or all this sci-fi. It actually showed that they were sent back for these reasons, and he was sent back to bring the community together and to actually protect it, which he did. Unfortunately, not just in just fighting, but also in dying trying to save someone. That's the show just ended up having this really cool vibe of, oh, it's not just that, there's actually connective tissue through everything. So that's when he started realizing they're being sent back for various reasons and powers, what have you, and everything. But the powers weren't the main focus. It was what's happening to them, what will happen to them, and why are they back, and who will live, who will die, like what's their purpose. It just became like a deeper thing than just, oh, let's just throw some powers in there for the sake of it. And that's what I really liked about the show, that it had a depth of story. And at that time, USA was doing stuff that nobody else was doing. Like you said, they were doing these shows. Like they were before Netflix, before Hulu, whatever. That like USA was like, look, let's do a whole bunch of dramas to see what I would say. USA and Sci-Fi were just whatever, but USA had a more rounded thing because they weren't just doing Sci-Fi. And this was a show that, like, USA for a lot of time had me because their shows were different. There was stuff that was on it I wasn't getting. And if I missed it, I don't know if I had TiVo at that time or I like recorder, but they would rerun certain shows at about 11:30, 11:35 on Mondays after Raw. But yeah, the show just had a depth to it that you didn't see with certain shows that had powers, and I love that fact about it. And that's what kept me. I forgot why. I think I stopped watching because life. I think I stopped watching maybe halfway through the third season, but it was just that show that it always stuck in my head of it was so different, and we got to see so many things that were cool and different type of storytelling that we were getting at that time.
Can I just say I do have one gripe, and it's more like on a cinematic preference, and I did tell Robert about this. It's when they do the night scenes. I'm like, I can't see.
Yeah. There, especially, I was going to say, especially on the first episode where the people are in the street watching the meteor, kind of crash. And then also during those scenes when I always call him the New Yorker in Seattle. You got to save the neighborhood, Angie.
That's my guy, man.
You gotta save the neighborhood. But especially when he would go to clean up the park, that was so I know what you're talking about. It was a weird effect that they did.
At first, I thought it was on purpose because of how dark it was. I thought it was like some type of like a meaning or something. I thought it was. But at a certain point, I was like,
well, in the first episode, I think the way that you get away with it is that they're suggesting that the meteor or the asteroid, science. It wasn't my thing, was blocking out the sun. So there was that suggestion. One of the things I did want to go back to what you were talking about, Antonio, was that each episode had this idea of the ripple effect. And
Yes.
so so that is, I think, what separated this from something like Smallville, which had that reputation for the freak or the superpowered of the powers of the weak, or with Heroes. I think Heroes was kind of doing the same thing because they were telling a larger kind of connected story. But and that's what 4400 was doing, because spoiler once again, for a show that's like 20 plus years old, it comes out in later seasons that the actually, well, whatever, in this season, the at the end of the season, it is revealed that these people weren't abducted by aliens, which was the popular theory. They were abducted by individuals from the future, and they were brought back to this point in, this time and place, to use their abilities to change the world for the better. So the episodes that lead up to this, you see in each instance, like Orson Welles, the guy who killed his former boss, right? Or his former boss's son. Watch the TV show, you'll understand. There was the guy he killed inadvertently had this gigantic Ponzi scheme that would have destroyed the lives of a lot of people in this area across the world. And then in the case of, like, hey, we got to save the neighborhood. He was saving, basically, like Antonio said, bettering his community. The one episode that kind of messed me up in terms of the ripple effect was, and I think they explain it, was the serial killer who came back. And I don't know if y'all saw that one, but basically he was using his, like, and the thing I love is that the ability to use, all of these are mind based, right? Telepathy, telekinesis, whatever, but he was using his power of persuasion to tell people to commit murders in his name. And that was one of my favorites, because it was like this, everybody who came back wasn't perfect, right? So, like, that's when you start to question what is the ripple effect for this? What is the good that comes out of this guy continuing his murder streak? So I liked how they got, kind of different, with these abilities, and what each of these people's motivations were.
Yeah, that was a great one, because I love that saying that, yeah, like you're saying, not everybody was going to come back and be a good person or what have you. And that was Lee Tergesen. You all know him from Oz, as a Beecher. I don't care what he does for the rest of his life. That dude is Beecher, and there's nothing wrong with that role. That was such an incredible role and show, and so I mean, we felt for Beecher in like a huge way at a certain point, but yeah, being able to do that and that persuasion, and because in the beginning of this episode, you're like, well, they brought him back. There's got to be a good reason, and then you realize, no, it is him killing by proxy and influencing these people. And I think was the first person that you see him do it to. The guy's so messed up. He's walking down the street, blood splattered, and he tries to walk in front of a cement truck or a garbage truck, something like that, and the truck doesn't hit him. And I'm like, jeez, what the? And I'm like, yeah, but that's the type of thing that they did, that they're really telling those stories and just making it matter. It wasn't all about flashy powers. It was about making it matter and showing, like you said, that ripple. Not every ripple is going to be good. Not every ripple is going to be bad. It just, sometimes it's just a ripple, but you hope it's for a particular reason. That one person may have been brought back by somebody who was a part of that group who wasn't a good person. And that, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah, like that was just, now I got to actually watch the reboot now that I'm thinking about it. Cause I'm like, yeah, this show was hitting on a different level, and we weren't thinking about storytelling like that at that point. We weren't.
I wanted to ask, so what about, I guess if we're looking at specific characters, let's start off with the blade of it all. Mahershala. Sorry.
Damn, that hurt. Jesus.
Well, I mean, this was my, if we're talking about named actors who came out of this, Mahershala would be the biggest one. Followed by the guy, I cannot remember his name, who was on Chicago PD, but Mahershala, I really enjoyed him on this show and his story.
I was confused with his character and how it's playing on season 2, because I'm like, I have questions. Because I'm like, I don't know if that's supposed to work in that relationship for various reasons. Because I have thoughts.
Well, I mean, what are your thoughts about? I mean, let's just say him and Lily, him and I think that's her name, Richard and
It is
Lily.
Lily, but it's like so since Lily is technically a descendant of his girlfriend, I'm like, how do you know that y'all not related? Because you were off at war and y'all could have done some, like, had some fun activities before you left. I'm like, that is incest. And then on top of what happens at the end of season 1, I don't know about that. Am I wrong or right? Like,
I mean, so no, you right. I guess that you could be right, but what I will say is like, hopefully we not getting into no Game of Thrones territory where that is much more explicit with it. Like even to the point of like House of the Dragon, where something happened this week, and I was like, you know what, I I need somebody to get some counseling. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that that's a possibility, and it is the whole thing of like you are dating your if this is not his direct descendant, you're dating the same woman or her granddaughter,
it's her granddaughter, yeah.
her granddaughter, right? So, people might be like, "Oh, this is his chance for love again because racism and the future took him away," right? But I will say that their relationship does develop. I think probably in the most in a for me, I like the way that they develop over this season and the second season. And without getting into what happens in the second and season on, they are probably one of my top two of like my favorite couples from the show. And then also him being a man out of time, dealing with apparently he was just like, oh my god, people with piercings, and then they showed every multi. Oh wait, the thing that I love the show, but there was that moment where they were he was in a diner, and every mixed race person was holding hands, and he was just like, oh god, what is going on? And he was like, oh god, they wouldn't let me, but it was like this montage of him learning about what it means to now be a black man in this current world, right? So I don't know, like I really enjoy Mahershala in this role.
Yeah, when I was watching it over, and obviously we're more gravitated towards him because we know. But even when the show was originally there, he was the one that you gravitated towards. Maybe because I'm black, he's black. Maybe that's why I gravitated more towards him. And the fact that he was a man at a time and seeing his reaction, maybe that's why. It's also just him. He has this charisma. He has this aura that you do naturally gravitate towards him. The way he talks, the way he smiles, everything, like there's just something about him that is there. So he does like steal scenes, even if he's not supposed to. He does, because the scenes with him and Lily, it's the way he's acting too. When he's like, "Oh, well, we're not a couple." Like when they were in that the apartment, he's like, "Oh, we're not a couple," and he's like, still, even though he knows that it's okay in this time, he still got all this baggage. Because even when he's in the room with the therapist is like, "Okay, so let's talk about that hostility towards me," and he doesn't realize he's doing it because look, this dude has been literally fighting for his life in a time when you can be hung just for be walking around. Well, actually, that can still happen to you, but what have you? And then him being in the military, and we know he went through stuff in the military. We know not just the military stuff, but also racism in the military at that time. We know it. And then for him to, I can see him trying to reclaim that love because now it's safe, it's okay, and he's still coming, like kind of tipping out of that shell of his of trying to hold back to protect her. But yes, I do feel some kind of Captain America in reverse type mess where Cap was like, "Oh, a black man in charge." Yeah, obviously. Instead of going, "What's this darky doing over here? What's this one-eyed colored boy doing here? He's in charge? Really? What?" You know what I mean? And seeing him actually becoming acclimated to this new time, and learning everything. It definitely was the opposite of Rogers, where you see him going through everything. Although they did do the same thing of hooking up with their original love's descendant. Yeah, that's a little weird. At least they look different. So but he was a character that I liked. I liked, I want to say Sean.
Yeah.
No, wait. No, Sean wasn't the one that was in the coma, was he?
That was Kyle.
Okay, so the brother that wasn't in the coma is Sean, right?
That was his cousin.
That one always caught me because of the sibling thing. And oh well, now we're the same age. And again, being a teenager, all those feelings, those emotions, those rage, and someone who you never thought about is now your age, and you're seeing them differently. And then you've come back from being taken out of your life, your time, and you come back and you see your cousin who was also standing right next to you is in this coma. There's almost like a survivor's guilt kind of a thing there too. And then him realizing what his power is and the balance. How do you handle that weight as a teenager who just came back from you don't know where? You're being accused by your uncle that you did something to your cousin. Excuse me. The sibling thing, there's so much going on there that a lot of what Sean is dealing with, I can see why he's angry and trying to figure it out, because he's just trying to figure things out. But when he realized what his power does, it changes everything. He's like, what do I do? I can bring him back, but I have to take something. Again, it's not just powers for the sake of powers. It's not just something flashy, because there were special effects used, but it wasn't really flashy. It's more practical, but it's also their acting that portrays the powers more than anything. And that, like, okay, I almost killed this kid, but I brought my cousin back for like a few seconds. He was awake. I can reverse this, but I got to take somebody. Like that one hits me a bit more, because I was like, oh, that's very interesting. I also have a thing about, obviously, with with the balance of life and death and the give and take. So that was I think his dilemma was the one that hit me the most, I think.
And his brother was a hater. It's just like, oh my god, I couldn't. I think his name is Danny, but I couldn't stand him. And it was this thing of like, your brother is back, right? After like so many years. So I don't know. For me, like the majority of in season 1, he was like an antagonist because he was just like worried that Sean was eventually going to take his girlfriend, and well, we see what happens. But like you said, Sean, I do think has some really good character growth. I keep saying this once again, he is not the same like person he is, the teenager, by the time we get to season 4. Because I think between him and Richard, they probably have like the best character growth or arcs in the series. And like I said, I really enjoy his character. I wanted to ask, what did y'all both think about Magneto in this, or Jordan Collier?
Bill Campbell and stuff is always cool. When he shows up and he's like, and he's talking to them, and he's like, but I know one thing, I'm cold. Are all of you cold? I was like, that's how you get people in. That's how that move right there. He switches it right on the dime. And at first he's kind of talking at them, and then he switches up and he's talking to them like, are y'all cold? Because I'm cold. How about we go somewhere? Let's go. I love that. Bill Campbell is one of those actors who I enjoy. When I see him coming in, I know I'm going to get some good character work. He's one of like those actors where you've seen him in a bunch of stuff. You might not know his name. Some of you may remember him from The Rocketeer. I don't know. There you go. But he's one of those actors who, when I saw him pop, this is the type of show too where you would get those actors who would pop up in like those, and Bill Campbell as like that. I always wanted to have those roles if I was an actor. I always loved those roles, because those were the meaty ones. And he gets that, and I love him there, because you knew to have somebody come up like that out of nowhere, and he's rich. He's got the limo though. He's like, yeah, see, you're all like, yeah. But that line hits me. Are y'all cold? I'm cold. I know y'all gotta be cold too. Come on, let's let's go. That's how you get him.
I don't know. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but for me, when I first got introduced to him, it was not the good light for me to see him, which was the movie Enough. And if you watch the movie, you know exactly what it is. So I'm like, I don't like you.
Enough. I remember.
Totally fair.
And I'm like, I don't trust you because like you have that sinister look to you, like where you're up to some BS. I'm like, I don't like you, and it's only because of that movie. Because God, that movie, just as a keyword, Enough said, it's just like I can't. So I have to watch him in more stuff for other things, like to make me kind of like see him just not as like an ass in other light of his work. But
I think
it's
the
all right.
latest role he has is the Rocketeer. I think that might be the latest role he has. I think everything else is very conflicted. Like he starts to finds depth as an actor, I think, and he starts taking these roles. I know he has a show on Hulu called Helix. I think that's maybe 2 or 3 seasons.
Yes, I was
Yeah,
watching that, but I think Hulu screwed us over. Whereas like they
I'm
took off
sure it did.
2. No, they took off season 1 and it had like season like 2, I think, only on there. Because I was trying to watch it, could look interesting, and I'm like, well, wait, I didn't finish season 1 yet. So Hulu did some mess. Maybe I can find it on Tubi.
You might be able to find it on Disney since they're kind of merged. What have you? It might be. I don't know. They got something. I don't know what they're doing. They got a big old pot of something they're stirring up over there.
That when I got Disney Plus, that was one of the first movies I watched, The Rocketeer, because that was.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that when I was a kid and flipping out about rocket packs. But I would suggest watching. The Rocketeer on Disney Plus if you get a chance. It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Really good movie. I'm surprised they haven't rebooted it yet. But yeah. But he was the lead role in that, and he was just the hero, which is, like I said, the complete opposite. Because in this one, actually, I might have lied. I like Collier's arc as being. I like a lot of characters, their development in this, because he goes from like slimy, opportunistic businessman who gets beat up by a child by a child, and to someone more important, and I'll just keep it like that. But he is smooth, he is kind of calculating. The reason I compare him to Magneto is because he is the one that steps up and he has the money, and he's like, I'm riding for mine, like it's us or them. So but you wonder, like, is he doing this genuinely for the 4400, or is it all for his own selfish means or selfish goals? So yeah. I think Bill Campbell does a really good job. I'm trying to think of this. I keep saying the Scully. I'm sorry, Baldwin and Scorus. I think her name is Dana and Dana.
You weren't wrong the first time. You weren't wrong the first time, Rob.
Oh, was it? Okay.
No. I mean, as far as like saying Molnar and that, you
Mulder and
weren't.
Scully, yeah. They're not FBI agents. They're NTech agents. I want one of those like jackets with like the NTech, just acronym on the jacket. But yeah, I enjoy them being the kind of central figures for going to see all the different 4400s, or at least coming across them. But yeah. I don't know, any thoughts about them or about the two of them?
It again. There was another actor, Joel Gratch.
However
He
you
was
say
one.
the last name,
Yeah, he was another actor that popped up a lot around that time. He was in a number of stuff. I can't remember things like that he was in necessarily. I know that at a certain point, did they say something about uh, Department of Homeland Security as well?
Yeah, this was like a branch
Yeah,
of it was a branch of the Department of Homeland Security.
yeah. That didn't age well because that made me go. Because when I heard that name, I started thinking of icing. I was like, so yeah, certain things like that do hit a little differently now. But I kind of like their chemistry, although the wife thing was annoying because I hate that trope of the grizzled the wife, my kids. trouble. And I understand the circumstance because of what happened to their son, but sometimes that trope, it just grates on me because I'd rather see a couple that is together and trying to figure it out in that new normal than always a separation. And you know the male always picks up the phone. He's like, yeah, I know, yeah, I know. And he's got that grip, yeah, that voice like he's been drinking like whiskey and coffee since the age of 9 every morning. It just annoys me at a certain point. And then having like that obviously again that USA Molnar and Scully combination. I understand why it was there, obviously, because I do like having mixed gender teams because you can get two different perspectives and you can get some really good chemistry out of it as well and some really good scenes. But it was just that was just the thing that just really annoyed me was that trope of the breakup and I'm trying to get her back, but I keep forgetting to go when we make dinner plans. I keep forgetting to go, and she serves me. And it's always that point where it's like where the guy goes, "Hi, are you whatever the name is?" And they go, "Yeah," and like, "You've been served," and he goes, "Papers." It's there's always, and it pisses me off. I'm like. Yeah, and then I'm like, is his boss sleeping with his like strange wife? I don't know. It started just really aggravating me because it took me out of the story in a sense, But I enjoy the actors themselves. I forgot the other agent's name. Which
Was
is
it Jacqueline?
yes, I want to say
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I think I liked her character more than him.
Okay, so
And I think because she wasn't going through that mess and that trope, and she was more trying to figure it out, and like she was, what she felt more like, and this is gonna catch you. She felt more like the Olivia Benson
I knew you were gonna
of
say
the
that.
show because I know my audience, so I like that's what she felt like, and I like again I like that type of feeling and that vibe with it when there's someone who I can root for, someone who I can empathize with. And I liked her character. Him, I didn't. Again, I know he's going through stuff. Him, but I liked her more.
You know what? Now that you mention it, it literally is Benson and Stabler. Because he literally went through the exact same thing in SVU. So that's literally yeah, just on a sci-fi version. Because she was more grounded than what he was anyway.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Robert? Who did like what you think of that combo?
I mean, between the two, Diana was always my favorite because she seemed to be more no nonsense between the two of them, and I don't think I'd ever looked at it from the perspective of there's more emotional heft with him because of what's happening with his son and then what's happening with his wife, his ex-wife. So she's like, I'm single, I'm a scientist, I got a gun, let me just do what I do. So when you see the two of them interacting, she is a little bit more, she's sarcastic. She is the type to like say, I'm smart and I'm going to show you why. Like she is the science side of things, which I remember like with Scully was, I think Mulder and Scully both had more so Scully. Her background was like as a, she was was she a doctor in X Files or
I
some
want
type
to
of,
say yes.
or
Like she was more like that fact based.
yeah,
Like that
yeah.
was her. Like she was straightforward. Where he was like, I believe.
He was like, "Well, crackhead saw an alien. Let's believe it, right?" So yeah. So so Diana seemed to me to have a little bit more freedom with the acting that they were doing. Like she
Yeah.
could kind of break out of that because like he seems like he's more confined to this grizzled detective who the job has affected his relationship, right? And I don't see that as much with her. I keep saying this, but considering where she goes, in from this single life to um, where we see in season 2 on, it's another opportunity to see her grow. and develop. And I once again, I think that's a credit to the writing and to the show running that we get, because this reminds me more of a show, like you said, that I would see on Netflix nowadays,
Yeah.
rather than, and I think that this was around that time, because this ties into the character development side of things. It's like when things become more not episodic but more serialized. Like this is a time of Breaking Bad. This is a time of The Sopranos. This is a time of, if we're looking at sci-fi, Battlestar Galactica, right?
Yeah.
And so you have more of a chance to have these characters not stay static, and see them develop into something different than what a trope, where they normally are with the tropes that we know of. But she was actually a big example of that. So between the two of them, I enjoyed her more.
Yeah, it just felt better. He was just, I don't know. It just, but like you were saying, that like that emotional heft that he felt, but I feel like he would have been one of the friends of humanity in X-Men. I'm not even going.
I would have put him with X Factor. Like he's an X Factor liaison. Like
I think after being with X Factor for a little bit too long, he would have went with the Friends of Humanity,
Okay,
and I think she would have been more of a McTaggart. I want to say.
Yeah, yeah. I guess part of the reason I hesitate is because, like I said, I've watched the other seasons, so I see where he goes. But definitely, he is more of a government stooge in this one, if that if that makes any sense. But yeah,
I sure did go straight to Friends of Humanity. I went straight for FOH. I did.
I
did, man.
That was like last week when I saw the the ones that work for Stryker, and are the
Purifiers.
The Purifiers. They were like the religious zealots. Oh my God. It's like varying degrees of crazy hatred, right? Crazy racism. And you eventually get that in this series. I think that definitely for people who might compare this to X-Men, who might compare this to something like well, I don't know, X-Men being the more obvious example, I understand it, I get it. Because it's this continuing thread of like, we are the others and everybody hates us. One thing I will say that I think that the new series does better than this one is on the representation front with the main cast. Now, in later seasons, you do have people who aren't like white, who are either supporting characters or different, cast members, regular cast members. You have people of different races. But the show, that the reboot or the remake that came out in
2021
2021 is nothing but black.
Mhm.
Nothing but black. And it's, I think, trans, queer. There's a lot more representation than we get in this show, this iteration. And I think that the message, and we've talked about this before, of being the other, I think sometimes works a little bit better in that first season than at least in this first season. But also that, that's how I sometimes feel about X-Men, right? It's just like, you can still pass because you are a straight looking white male. Like if Cyclops just wears a pair of glasses, now he'll probably kill everybody because they're not they're not the red ones. But you're still able to go. But like somebody like Forge, right? And the majority of the mutants sometimes that we see are white. They're white male, white female. And so with the 4400, at least the new one, I think that they did better, at least with balancing out the representation versus this, in the 2004 one.
I think with Ali's character. What was his character's name?
Richard?
Richard. Yeah, Richard Tyler.
I think for Richard, it actually somewhat works.
Yeah.
Because out of the main characters that we see in the first season, he's like the only black one. So I think he feels even more ostracized and even more like the other. Because he's the only white one and because he came from that time. So I think even then, like, I know it probably wasn't part of their plan, but I think it still it still made you look at him more and feel more of him being Usher. I was like, damn, all that, and he's still surrounded by white people in this damn lake. Like, what the hell is going? Like, brother, can we give him an inch, anything? And even that. So I think it's like that when it works. I don't know if that was their plan. I kind of doubt it.
You still see more of it in season 2 because there was a scene with a semi spoiler where they were talking about like how they were trying to collect the 4400s, and they're like, oh, they should just send them back, and and Richard just said like, oh, okay, just because he was like, I think he was like working or something, and like they were like the two other guys were just like talking out loud, like they should have stayed and they should have never come in, and he and I'm pretty sure Innocent is like, do you think I really wanted to be here? Like I'm by myself.
He was working at the mechanics place, right? Yeah. How far into the second season did you get?
Let me check Tubi now.
Okay.
I'm only on episode 8.
Okay, so you see what happens with Isabel, right?
Look.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, so yeah, I know that and side note or shout out to a podcast I used to co-host called A Light in the Sky. We went through the first 3 seasons of 4400, and for some reason we stopped at the 3rd season. I think because the new series was coming out, and then Rain Coleman and I reviewed first 3 seasons of the previous series, and then we went through the first season of the new series, and I enjoyed it. I will say, just as a kind of a quick kind of addendum to this one, I do think that they needed a second season to kind of build off of and get a chance to tell their own story, because that was definitely not beat for beat a beat for beat remake of the original series. And I don't know how it was received by the 4400 fans, but for me, I enjoyed it. There were things that definitely probably could have been worked on, but I feel that it deserved at least a second season to move forward. But it was just around that time we talked about this, where the CW was transitioning to like no fictional, series, scripted series, no scripted series, and like it seems like all the genre shows were being taken off the air. Whether it was like the Arrowverse, more of the supernatural shows. The only one that stayed around was All American, and I think that's going off this season, this year. Yeah, All American was the only scripted show that I remember being able to kind of, at least from when the CW launched, or at least when it was around. So all that to say, if you can find it, I would recommend, pairing that up with this one, just to kind of see what things stayed the same and what things didn't, and how it tried to make its own thing.
I think if people are still able to get CW Seed,
Mm-hmm.
it might be on there.
Yeah.
I don't know where, like anything I look on, like if like as far as like my PS4, yeah, shut up, I'm trying to get a PS5. Or my tablet, anything like that. Like I think I've had Seed once, and I watched some of the animated Arrowverse stuff on there.
Same.
Yeah, because I know that because it was a free service, and you could watch anything that was. I'm not sure how it is now. They probably I don't know what they've done with it now. But yeah, check it out and go with there. Like I said, Tubi for some reason only wanted to give me every other episode, which was really weird.
That's weird.
I don't know, but again, it's free, so I can't be mad. I can't.
I watched the new one on Prime. I just looked it up, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna double check just to make sure, because they say, oh, you can watch it on Prime, but it's not in your region. It's like what the
yeah. Oh, we thought you lived in Tasmania. You don't? Oh,
like no.
I totally thought you lived there. Really? Yeah, this was I would like to. I wish this would be.
You gotta buy it.
Right, of course, totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a series definitely worth watching. It was ahead of its time.
Yeah, definitely.
USA was a lot. Well, it was ahead of its time on a few things. Honestly, they truly were with their series. They really were. Between Suits, between Psych, like between those shows, it really was ahead of its time. And it's got great storytelling. Again, it's not about the powers, although the powers are there. It's about the story and the characters and how everything is together. And it just, there's a lot of really cool themes in here. Um, yeah, this would be more cohesively written Heroes rather than X-Men. Unfortunately, Heroes would have been better, unfortunately, but we got that strike and destroyed everything. But I think if I was to go with two series that I think are more grounded, no pun intended because of Heroes. Yeah, that was a bad joke. I don't care. I think these two, like the first seasons, I'll say, are running neck and neck as far as story wise and connective tissue. And every time you watch an episode, you go, "Oh wait," and there's more that's being unearthed. I think these are two that, if you have a chance to watch them, watch them. I believe Heroes is on Prime now, or Netflix, because I know it. Like the browser was like, "Hey, because you've watched this, watch Heroes," and I was like, "Nosy ass." All right, but thank you. I like that suggestion.
You gotta buy it
On Tubi. I mean,
Prime.
you can't buy anything on Tubi. They can't help but give stuff away. What about? I think then Heroes must be on Netflix for free. I mean, well, not free. You still got to charge. They're still going to charge you.
But just be mindful that there is two versions of Heroes. There's the original Heroes, which I think it's the 4 seasons, and then when they stopped and tried to reboot it again, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it was. That was. I can't remember how many years ago, but I would say these would be neck and neck if you want something that's more grounded with powers. I would say these are two of the best series possible. The 4400, different themes as well, but yeah, the 4400. Like I was watching and I was like, damn, yeah, I like it. Just took me back to a simpler time, a cheaper time, and just watching these episodes, just being like, what's going to happen next, and seeing actors I truly enjoyed as these characters popping up. Yeah, this was a great Jabba with Black Cake, just knocking us all on our ass, and then Robert coming up with this follow up with the 4400s. Just dashly. I'm really happy with these things that y'all have chosen. Just absolutely stellar choice, truthfully, y'all. Don't give me the obsession freeze. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that. No, don't do that. You should have did the dance, but had the shadow in your face.
Well, I'm trying to see where I can stop where it's crazy. Like,
and just, all right, y'all, see you. I'm like, well, you know what I want to do one episode? I actually do want to get credits and just have us do it, and then just have the credits rolling down, and they're unnecessary credits, like shoelace tire, and have it be like Tom Wallingford or some route lounge. Anyway, yeah. So another stellar choice for our summer spotlight special, the 4400, the original series from 2004 to 2007. Was it? Yeah. 4 seasons. Definitely check this out. It's well worth it. And if you've seen it before, go watch it again, because it's just a comfort watch. But I think older, I look at it now and I go, oh yeah, I see more themes in there, and I'm able to appreciate it more. If you haven't seen it and you want to watch something that's new to you, that's still on the level of like streaming services shows now, I strongly recommend the 4400. This is just, it was just and see a young Mahershala Ali before Marvel didn't know what the hell to do with him and dropped that immense. I'm just saying. Yeah. So anyway, folks, look, that was our show. Y'all are just knocking out of park with these choices. Seriously, just incredibly happy with these. We will be back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be doing, I believe it's going to be Jabba's pick, because we have San Diego Comic-Con news that we were doing. So we'll be doing remakes, reboots, remake beautifications. going on. That's going to be a fun one. But also this Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Hungry Bleak Show will be doing a special. Um, just a quick San Diego Comic-Con wrap up. I probably will be saying something about people that are stupid, as I usually am apt to do. Because unfortunately there are too many in the culture, in the community, and we need to gatekeep against these morons. Yeah, so that'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the channel. But yes, I hope you all have a very good evening. I hope you all enjoyed it. Sorry about the technical difficulty. I mean, it happens, when everything is technical and everything is a difficulty. That wasn't even an explanation. I would have been the worst IT person ever. But you know what? We have fun. We love just coming on talking about this, regardless of what have you. We still get through it, and that's awesome. So, as always, I am Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room. Hey, what?
Wow, are you having technical difficulties?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is your girl Job Chan, who is having a nice day.
Jeffrey the second, aka Rob the writer.
And that's our show, folks. Hey, be safe out there. Drink water. Take your vitamins. Take your meds, whether it's for physical, mental, or emotional ailment, because we want you to be the best you that you can be. And we will see y'all later. As always, I am angry, but I want y'all to think positive. So, hey, do a wonderful thing. Oh, and happy new comic book day, everybody. Bishop number 2. Check it out. And we'll see y'all later. Bye. 2 buttons every time.